Hello, Mordarim here. In today's video I want to show you an incredible super busted paladin build for Enshrouded. You are here to protect, heal and burn everything and everyone, a new one through holy light, flames of vengeance and some puke. The amount of utility this build brings to the group play is also just incredible. You will constantly spawn orbs that restore not only health but also mana and stamina to everyone that picks them up. Your water aura constantly heals everyone in its radius, and your taunt perk will make sure that you are the prime target for enemy attacks. But that's not all. Fire aura combined with multi-layer spellcasting and a ton of crit will make sure to proc electric tendrils around you, zapping enemies through your sheer presence on the battlefield. The power of this build is just incredibly busted. You will breeze through the game. Nothing can stop you through your steel-hardened, magic-enhanced, holy blessed apps deflecting damage, hosts and foes alike. You are the level 30 wizard everyone talks about. Well, actually you are only level 25, but that's beyond the point. Sniping flying haters with your burning passion and repelling that what is unwanted with just your holy visage on a stick is immensely satisfying. Now I'm sure you will see a mod to modify the poisonous carpet to be more in line with what a paladin would use. Maybe a holy consecrated ground would fit? Well, hopefully in the future. Now there is just one problem with this build. Mobility. Given the limited amount of 114 points we get access to, we cannot just spend them on the convenient double jumps or boosts during flight. This limits us in some capacity. But we can modify the build for single player fun by omitting the taunt ability in favor of a more reliable mobility kit. You can also weaken your strikes with melee combat to gain access to double jump. Next, let's have a look at the attribute points for this build and how to progress your character. We're going to start with a deep dive into constitution and your tanking capacity. This will ensure that you can take a hit and divert attention to yourself, the divine being. Next up is intelligence, to not boost your spell power but also your brain. Well, actually you're boosting your water aura, which can stack with other water auras, so you can play in a group with other paladins, bringing justice to absolutely everyone. Next we're going to look into the melee side of things, flashing out our mid game through strength. We do not get access to the most powerful spells until later, making one-hand combat and tanking for your party the top priority. Afterwards we're going to boost our magic capabilities a little bit further with intelligence to flash out our divine magic. But we can also swap those two, so you can boost your magic capabilities first and then boost your strength capabilities. As a note, you have 114 points at your disposal to distribute in a skill tree, so keep that in mind. If you do not have this at the very end, you missed some shroud roots or an elixir well. A shroud root gives you 1 skill point per and an elixir well gives you 3. Next up, let's have a look at the weapons. We as a paladin want to also look like a paladin, so we're going to obviously use a shield of light. And we can combine this one with 2 very nice blades. We have the ice blade and the light forged axe, both of which can be found in both farming spots I have shown in my videos. This means at level 25 chests can drop those weapons. You will be able to find a light forged axe with another name, which is located right near the volcano. I will show you real quick. So right here at the Southern Caravan, but that axe does not show your shield. Next up are wands. Well, joking, because paladins do not use wands. We are not heretics, right? So what we're going to use is a holy divine staff, which lets us produce spells. You can find the shroud weaver following my best staff video. Wait, but spells? Spells cost mana. How do we obtain infinite mana? Through the ring of rapacity. You can farm this one through the video also down below. You just need to reset the server and you can grab 2. So that's our ring. We're going to use 2 rings of rapacity. Now, before you mention this one, but this one got fixed or will be fixed in the future. Now we can work around this by picking up blood magic, which is basically the same thing, just a little bit different. So you're going to lose constantly health, but you're also going to heal. So a sneak peek towards what is going to fix the ring of rapacity. Otherwise, we basically do not need other weapons. Next up for the glider, we're going to use the ghost glider, which is the fastest glider in the game. You can find this one also in the temple, which is right at the bottom right corner. Here's the sun temple. Climb this one and you will be able to obtain this glider. For the rings, ring of rapacity. If you do not have this ring, you can use the ring of endless life, which can also be found in tier 1 golden chests. Here is one right here at the custom marker. Here's the spawn point, the cinder vault. So you just need to cross. Here is a tower, climb this one and get the ring. Farm it, it's very common. You can also find better rings than this one, but this one is sufficient for now. We deal a ton of hits, so this one will proc quite regularly. Procking this one will leech the whole damage you dealt in one go, so you have a 3% chance to leech 100% of the damage you deal. An alternative to this ring specifically is going to be the +1 to all stats ring, which I also found, but it does the work. So this one, the Ring of Ancients, right here, has +1 to dexterity, strength, constitution, spirit, endurance, and intelligence. However, this one doesn't work currently, so when we equip this ring in our character screen, you will see that our attributes do not change. We have 11 constitution, 8 spirit, 5 endurance, and so on and so forth. and when we unequip this ring, or for example another ring of rapacity, we will see that our stats do not change. So sadly, this ring is not good. But later on, this ring will become really good once we get a fix for this one. And we get a fix for this one. Now, as for the armor, because this one looks incredibly cool, we are going to use the Elder Head. This one has a plus 15 magical critical strike chance. We want as much magical critical strike chance as possible. Critical strike damage is also really nice to have. Then we have the Radiant Paladin chestplate, which has health and stamina and the highest physical damage resistance the game has to offer. Then we have the Elder Gloves, which has a magic damage multiplier. Most of our damage is magic damage, so that's really nice. The 9% increased damage against magical foes does not currently work, so this one can be good later once they fix it, but currently it doesn't apply to any damage we deal. Then we have the Eagle Eye Trousers, which have a +1 sprint speed modifier, so it increases our mobility. It is one of the best pants you can pick, basically best in slot. And then we have the Spellbinder Boots. Those give us health regeneration and stamina regeneration. You can alternatively use some other boots, for example the Elder Boots to increase our mana regeneration even further, or the Eagle Eye Boots for more stamina regeneration. Alternatively, the Radiant Paladin Boots are also really nice with physical resistance, so you have quite a few options. All those items are farmable in level 25 chests, but you need to farm them in the corner here. So there is this line. Every chest beneath the line right in this zone can contain those items. Both of my farms are very well suited to farm those items. Now I want to show you an improvement to the previous farm. You can just run up to this window, then hit this window 2 times with the pickaxe, run inside and loot the chest. Then reset the server and you can farm this chest in basically just 5 seconds. Really nice for farming armor. This chest specifically can contain the Elder set, the Eagle Eye set and the Radiant Paladin set. We can also find the Shield of Light as well as the Ice Blade and the Light Forged Axe. Next up, let's have a look at the spells. For our spells, we have multiple options here. For most of the game, you're going to use your fireballs. So those are your regular casts. With the rings, we can fire them constantly. We basically never run out of mana. Once we spawn our spirit orbs, we can gather them and recover mana even faster. Our bread and butter spell in the end game is going to be the Acid Carpet. We can cast the spell on top of each other to increase the damage a little bit. With this tree, we see the orbs spawning. So when we run inside the orbs, we see a ton of healing. So every single critical strike will spawn those orbs all around the combat area and all of you can pick those up. Then we have the Light Burst spell. This one is incredible for tanking. So it is a quick cast and you can then afterwards block hits. This spell can technically stun lock enemies. So if you're standing in front of an enemy, like this tree for example, I hate trees, ineffective, but they will be stun locked and they spawn also the orbs because we can critical. Well, we cannot get to the orbs, but you know what I mean. For some ranged enemies, we want to use the lightning channel ability. So this one targets an enemy and then we blast him with this ability. So I will show you a little bit of gameplay how this one looks. We can use this one to combat ranged foes, but we are a paladin, so we're going to use the Eternal Fireball, right? Afterwards, we have the Unholy Magic, the Shroud Meteor. This one spawns meteors in front of us, targeting every single enemy. It is basically hit scan and it will rip the ground apart. It is a very strong ability and very strong in terms of damage, but our other spells are more convenient to use and basically do the job just fine, so we don't use them. And lastly, we have our channel heal and our chain heal. The heal channel spell does have an eternal version, the chain heal does not. At least I haven't found a way to craft it or obtain it through basically every single vault. I found the vault in the tier 2 zone, so you can find a catacomb vault right around here, but this one did not contain the spell. Now, as for the moveset, I have shown you the spells. That's basically it. If you are tanking, you want to keep your shield risen. In between, you can attack with a light attack and then cancel this one with the shield. So the attacks are very fast, so you can block basically every single hit with just attacks in between. For the spells, when you're tanking, you can use your Light Blast spell and then switch to tanking relatively fast. So the enemy will be stun locked for the duration of the spell, so you can get your shield out in time. Your other spells need to be used while kiting. Then afterwards, why are we using the Light Forged Axe and the Ice Blade? Because some enemies are resistant to fire damage and some are resistant to ice damage, and we want to use either fire axe or the Ice Blade depending on the effectiveness. We need to deal damage to tank because enemies will not attack us just because we are standing around. We need to deal some kind of damage. Next, let's look at the skill tree. We're going to start with the tanking tree. Constitution here, shiny plates, then heavy plates, constitution, tower for 10% less physical damage taken. We don't want to use warden because 15% magic damage might sound like a lot, but there is very little enemies that deal magical damage, especially early on, so those are wasted points. Next up we pick up its strength and then nemesis and arch enemy. This will enable us to taunt enemies and draw attention to us, prime being. Then we pick up the earth aura. This will reduce the damage taken by every single player that's inside the aura. We're going to pick up the evasion attack, then battle heal for critical strikes healing us, 5% of our max health. Then we pick up Spirit, Bloodletting. This will enable us to spawn blood orbs or healing orbs or mana orbs, whatever, around the target with a 50% chance on a critical strike with our magical weapons. Those can be gathered by basically every single player, so also your mates. You will spawn a ton of them, and this is the first supportive ability. Next up we pick up Absorb, then Blink with the emergency blink to get out of stuns. Then Healer, Healer 2, Intelligence, Water Aura, and Waters of Life. We flash this build out with 1 point intelligence here, and here. Then we grab the Life Burst ability. So this one will then heal targets by 3 times our intelligence on a kill. Water Aura combined with Waters of Life will heal any target in our range by 2 additional health points per intelligence, so per second. So that's just health regen. So we are now tanking and healing our allies for basically just being here. Next up, we are going to flash out our strength with Constitution here, Warrior's Path, 10% more melee damage, Strength, Slasher, Butcher, because we deal cutting damage. Then we pick up Veteran for 10% more crit strike chance, then Swift Blades, and we pick up Constitution here and Constitution here to finish up our tanking side. Now, those points can be spent at the very end, so you don't need to spend them now if you prefer magic, but I found this one to be more convenient in the mid game because there are less flyer enemies, and if you're playing in a group, you most likely have a dedicated mage that wants to hit things with spells, so you don't actually need to use your fireballs right now. You get the acid carpet a little bit later, and that's what we are going to pick up next. So Spirit, then Counter Strike, so when you receive a hit, you have a 50% chance to deflect the damage. Then we pick up Quick Charge, so our staff charge up time of our spells is 50% reduced. Around this time we should be able to gain the acid spell, so the acid carpet, so this node comes just in time. Then we pick up Intelligence here. This is the way. Spirit, Arsonist, Pyromaniac, Radiant Aura, and Sun Aura. This will now damage enemies around us in a 10-meter radius. So passively, we have a lot of intelligence, so this one will deal a substantial amount of damage. But not enough just yet. We're going then to pick up Intelligence, Wizard, Chain Hit, Mass Destruction, and Intelligence. Chain Hit and Mass Destruction will then, on a critical strike, deal shock damage times our intelligence. So we have 2 here and 5 here. So 7 damage per intelligence. We have 12 intelligence, so that's 84 damage around us, basically every single enemy, every time anything crits. This includes the Radiant Aura. This includes every single tick of our poison carpet. This includes every burst of our light burst. This includes every hit of our fireball. So we are now entering the zone. Now if you prefer, you can pick up this side of things first and the melee and tanking side a little bit later. So you're missing out on some strength and constitution here. Your blades are not going to hit as hard, but you will get access to this combo much earlier. Now, if they fix the ring, you're going to pick up blood magic. For this, we're going to drop 1 constitution here, 1 constitution here, 1 intelligence here, and 1 intelligence here, because we need 4 points to pick this one. If they fix this one and you're a solo player, you're going to pick this one up by dropping Nemesis and Arc Nemesis. If they do not fix this one, we're going to drop Strength, Nemesis, and Arc Nemesis for solo players, and then pick up Begone, 1 additional point in intelligence, and then Terror. On a critical strike with a spell, so a Poison Carpet, every single tick, enemies will be stunned for 4 seconds. So you can stun lock entire screens with your Poison Carpet. This is incredibly strong and extremely busted. So that's for solo players. You can also drop a few points here, so the Swift Blades, for example, and Constitution, Veteran, Butcher, whatever, so the melee side of things, and then enhance this one with the Terror abilities and pick up Double Jump instead. So if you want to focus on more of the spell side of things. But I want to keep both in the build. Feels a little bit better because sometimes you don't want to cast spells, especially versus critters that are chasing you, so you take out your weapon and whip them a new one with this one instead of casting a spell. Now we further optimize this build through a variety of buffs and consumables. First, get your comfort up and running to not run out of stamina. Next, consume some juicy meat, early chunks of wolf meat, later on game meat, improving your health through constitution. Next up, use berries early to get access to health regen and dry them to increase the duration. Your character will be able to boost strength and intelligence at the same time due to how food works. For intelligence, use mushrooms of any kind, and strength is obtained through grilled corn and later hazelnuts, so you can use both. Consume elixirs for a hefty boost in damage, scrolls to increase it even further, specifically the magic damage, and a variety of other options for light, more stamina, and of course healing through health potions and bandages are also offered to you. Those can be crafted en masse at the Alchemist by combining water, berries, and mushrooms, so pick those up whenever you can. For the end game, we're going to slap on some meat wrap, followed by some divine soup, and finished by some delicious hazelnuts to boost our strength. There is no +4 or +5 veggie-based strength food I'm aware of, so that's why we go with the good old nuts. Alternatively, you can go with some stamina food to get your breath back faster. Now this sums up the video. If you happen to enjoy it, make sure to drop a like. If you have any questions or remarks, make sure to comment down below. You can also subscribe if you have not already. Make sure to join the channel membership to support me some more, and check out my Patreon for AI art or using my thumbnail. So see you next time, and bye.